Hi all, good morning. I hope the audio is fine. Kindly confirm the audio. All students who are listening to me. Is the audio video fine? So, welcome to all for yet another class on advanced climatology. Both audio and video fine. Thanks for confirming that. So, I have some issue with my father's health. So, I was attending to him yesterday. So, the whole day went into that, and probably we need to be at the hospital on Saturday also. So, yesterday, both the classes, English and Hindi, could not be conducted. Not Saturday, I guess Friday is the appointment. So, I need to be there. So, I'm sorry for that miss. We had to cancel that, the class, which could not happen yesterday. So, we are doing today and tomorrow. And as of now, the Friday appointment and those reports will come by that time. So that is one thing which I wanted to inform you. So that is one. Any issue with Thornwhite's classification, 1931 classification? Issues वैसे उन्होंने छोड़े नहीं है. Issue itself is कि that you were able to understand that. That's what we are talking about. Get that? So this is what we are sharing with you. Climatic classification, 1948 classification. 31 we are done. 31 we said 31 is the one where a map was also possible. Classification is clear. So classification is a theoretical aspect and we are doing that. (1931) classification, that is where we had done compare and contrast with Koppen and Thornwhite also we had done. So I have a scenario to share with you. So there is a student, he is doing his economics. Yes, his subject is economics. He's learning a lot about macroeconomics, microeconomics. Yes, and he suddenly realizes that all this theory, all this theory is at one place. Economics actually works on real lives. And he realizes that just getting some degrees, some marks, or being a professor is not enough. I really want that economy to be applied so that people can benefit from what we have learned. And then he gives up education, he gives up all that theory, the jobs, and he starts going into welfare economics. Welfare economics is economics translated into real work for the welfare of the people. Get that? You've heard scholars like Amartya Sen and many others who have worked on that, and they have brought in a lot of things to us. Similarly, Professor Banerjee and all others we are talking about, they have done wonderful things. Now, similarly, I have a renowned scientist who was living in the California region, and he was a part of the research and studies about what is happening in California and about the climate. Yes, he realized that it is not just about studying climate. Climate change is a reality, and we need to make sure that people are made aware of it and make a difference to that. True or not? And he gave up all his academics and he started working. So, have you come across such people? Have you come across such people who, during their, or you've heard of such people who, during their academic quest, suddenly realize that this academic thing is hardly of any use? It needs to be applied in reality. Yes or no? Now suddenly their goals, their career goals and everything changes. They are not there for a job, they are not there for a theory, they are not there for a degree, they are not there for a PhD. They suddenly realize that this is something which is waiting for the mankind. True. Have you heard of such people? Have you thought of such things ever? एंड दीज आर यूरेका मोमेंट्स सबके आते नहीं हैं, लेकिन जिसके आ जाते हैं फिर वो रुकता नहीं, फिर वो सब छोड़ देगा. If you get that eureka moment in your life, you would suddenly feel that, the best of the things of life, that person will leave and just move on. Get that? I guess something like this happened in the works of Thornwhite. In his second classification, where he was talking about, like vegetation is about, the amount of water received and the amount of water lost. He came up with newer things, newer ideas, newer thoughts, and he suddenly realized that what I am doing is much bigger. It is not just about classification. It is about the water demands of an area and the water availability. He says, I am doing the mathematic calculation of what is the water demand of an area and what is the water availability. This will tell me whether the land is water surplus or water deficit. And later on, he realized that climatic classification goes secondary, but if we are able to find out whether the soil moisture is enough to support a crop or not, that's a very, very important practical information. There are so many dry zones in the world where people have to decide which crop to grow. This information about how much is the status of moisture in the soil will quickly help them decide which crop is there. If they are looking at a drought about to come, say for example El Nino brings a lot of droughts to the world. So if El Nino is there, then drought, which area would be more impacted, where we can take preemptive steps, that is what we can know if we know the soil moisture budget of that area. Yes, we also know that there are areas where the soil moisture may be low but the moisture available is high. So where is the need of water management and how can we do those water managements? That is more important. So when we are talking about Thornwhite's classification, the 1948 classification, his aim and intention is not to classify alone. His aim and intention is, by this time he has learnt a lot, he has understood a lot, and he realizes what he is doing is far bigger than merely classifying. To that extent, even today, various scholars look at his work on water balance, on moisture excess or deficit, as a useful work rather than a classification scheme. Is everyone with me on this? So this is what we are talking about in 1948. So I would want us to begin with the 1948 classification. Everyone with me on this? Yes. So we will give the heading Thornwhite's 1948 classification. Please write down. During his studies in developing the 1931 climatic classification, during his studies in developing the 1931 climatic classification, Thornwhite realized that only effectiveness and efficiency in thermal and humidity terms, in thermal and humidity terms, are not enough to assess the vegetation or vegetative potential of a climatic region of a climatic region. In fact, the vegetation of a region is an outcome of vegetation is a of a region vegetation of a region is an outcome of a complex interplay of multiple edaphic, climatological, as well as biotic factors associated with plants. So people who do not know edaphic means to do with soil. Edaphic is to do with soil. Yes. And when we are talking about climatological, is those temperature, precipitation, as well as the biological or the biotic factors. Yes. He came to the conclusion that the plant needs of moisture must be taken into account rather than plants variable needs. Plants variable needs of moisture must be taken into account and for that one needs to assess the potential evapotranspiration. One needs to assess potential evapotranspiration, which may be defined as the potential evapotranspiration को full stop करो. Yes. Let's create a new sentence over here. Is a measure of the plant water needs. Is a measure of plants water needs. It may be defined as the theoretical. It may be defined as the theoretical maximum loss of water. Theoretical maximum loss of water when maximum theoretical loss means actual water need of that plant. Maximum loss of water when an unrestricted supply when an unrestricted supply of water is guaranteed. Get that? Now, my job to tell you about the classification, my job to tell you about things. So, examiner hasn't asked us to give the full scheme of 1948 because 1948 scheme was in itself a very challenging scheme. But the examiner has asked us to write a short note on potential evapotranspiration. So, potential evapotranspiration is in front of you. That is it. And job done. But how do I write an answer for this? Think about it. पहले तो समझ आनी चाहिए. पहले तो समझ आनी चाहिए, उसके बाद इस पर यार 2 पेज लिखना बड़ा मुश्किल है या नहीं? जल्दी से बताओ, अगर आपको लिखने को कह दिया जाए पोटेंशियल इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन, दिस इज व्हाट यू नो अबाउट इट, दिस इज व्हाट यू नो. थॉर्नवाइट ने यूज किया पोटेंशियल इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन, ये है. इसको 2 पेज लिखना है, कैसे खींचोगे जल्दी बताओ. जल्दी बताओ. शॉर्ट नोट 10 मार्कर. वी विल शो द डायग्राम. अंकित कैसे डायग्राम बनाएगा, कैसे बनाएगा? माई जॉब इज नॉट जस्ट टू फिनिश द सिलेबस. नो सर, इसका रिलेशनशिप बता सकते हैं विद क्लासिफिकेशन. कैसे बताएगा रणवीर सिंह? दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम. द प्रॉब्लम इज how will you do that? The Thorndike concept. What is Thorndike concept, Saviraj? You tell me. Short note 10 marker. अब फंस गए. राहुल गुप्ता, नीड फॉर वाटर एंड लॉस ऑफ वाटर इन प्लांट्स. हो गया, एक लाइन है. 2 पेज कैसे लिखोगे? 2 पेज कैसे लिखोगे? How would you write? So पहले रीजन दूंगा why he introduced potential evapotranspiration and explain it, try to link with this classification, everyone. So your question is write a short note on potential evapotranspiration. This is an English word. Why should you see it only as Thorndike? So आयुष कह रहा है पहले मैं पोटेंशियल evapotranspiration बताऊंगा, फिर क्लासिफिकेशन से क्यों लिखेंगे? Why he introduced? Did they ask you? Potential evapotranspiration दिक्कत क्या है? If asked in question, then mentioning the utility of it through drawing world map like in desert potential, वो तो ठीक है. Rahul Gupta, on the basis they have not mentioned Thorndike. Have they mentioned Thorndike? Have they mentioned Thorndike? और सबसे बड़ी बात तो आपको पता ही नहीं है क्या ये. You don't even know that. Yes, the seasonal thermal precipitation because plant. Think about it. When somebody is asking me about potential evapotranspiration, should I not talk about transpiration first? Evapo and transpiration. श्रावणी सिंह डिफाइन इट बोल तो दिया, डिफाइन तो ये है द थ्योरेटिकल मैक्सिमम लॉस ऑफ वाटर, ये है 10 वर्ड्स। कुशाग्र सिंह कौन सा रेफरेंस मैप है मुझे तो बता दो, मैंने कभी नहीं सुना ये रेफरेंस मैप। योर टीचर डजंट नो दैट दे आर रेफरेंस मैप फॉर पोटेंशियल इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन। आरती आनंद अभी तो आपको पता भी नहीं है व्हाट इज इवेपोरेशन पोटेंशियल। You people don't even know the difference between evapotranspiration and potential evapotranspiration. Can you tell me the difference between them? Can you tell me the difference between them? This is where students were caught. Students who do not know brainstorming, students who do not really relate to, do not really relate to academics in a sense that it is giving you the freedom to answer. वो रटे रटाए पहुंच गया यार, इतना ही बताया था। शिल्पी सिंह वाटर साइकिल से रिलेट करेंगे, परफेक्ट। भाई इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन रेफर्स टू लॉस ऑन अकाउंट, लॉस ऑफ वाटर ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ इवेपोरेशन and on account of transpiration, which happens by plants leaves. आएगा कि नहीं आएगा? राहुल गुप्ता कह रहा है टू मच लॉस ऑफ वाटर इज पोटेंशियल इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन, बट वही तो नहीं है, वही तो नहीं है, इसीलिए तो गड़बड़ है राहुल। So that is why your teacher is there. So loss of water potential is estimation of how much evaporation through plants. Evapotranspiration is itself a process. अच्छा, evapotranspiration process है और potential measurement है, भाई दोनों है। Categories which vegetation has middle low potential, बिल्कुल सवाल ही पैदा नहीं होता। This is not a question on vegetation. Intro on evapotranspiration, its applicability on world vegetation distribution, then Koppen, then Thornwhite, and then its decrease on account of climate change. So everyone, please never do what Komal Patil is doing. Komal Patil is of that school of thought, mugged up things. So she has given us an answer, everyone. Komal Patil has actually given us an answer. She says intro of evapotranspiration. Second, she says its applicability in world. Its applicability in world. Third, she says on vegetation distribution, in world vegetation distribution. Third, she says she will talk about Koppen. Then she will talk about Thornwhite. Very good. Thornwhite. Then what she's saying, then she will say, then its decrease on account of climate change. ET is decreasing on account of climate change. There are many coaching institutes which are doing that. Now I'm challenging Komal Patil. What do you write in introduction to ET, beta? What will you write in introduction to ET? And who said that ET is decreasing because of climate change? Who said this? Everyone please read Komal Patil. I don't want you to miss Komal Patil. Really, I really want you to hold on to such people to account. इसने पूरा आंसर बता दिया हमें. This is the biggest fake answer possible. कोपन ने तो कभी बात ही नहीं करी है. पोटेंशियल इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन कोपन ने तो बात ही नहीं करी है. ठीक है. उसके बाद इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन इज डिक्रीजिंग ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ क्लाइमेट चेंज. हु सेड? फैक्चुअली रॉन्ग. इट्स एप्लीकेशन ऑन वर्ल्ड वेजिटेशन. हाउ? मैं भी पूछना चाहता हूं. आई रियली वांट टू नो. नाउ यू टेल मी, हाउ विल दीज पीपल पास द एग्जाम? You are not interested in what is asked in the question. Intro to ET. कुछ भी मारेंगे, कुछ भी मारेंगे. कहीं से भी वर्ड्स लिखे हुए हैं, उसमें क्या मारेगा? डेविस मारेगा, कॉपन मारेगा, त्रिवार्था मारेगा, डिफ्यूजन ऑफ इनोवेशन, माल्थूजियन कोलैप्स और ऐसे ऐसे वर्ड सिखाए, पोस्ट मॉडर्न आइडियाज. यहीं से किया हुआ कोमल पाटिल. इसका कराओ कि क्या करें इसका आंसर, ये बता दो. एवरीवन, आर यू लुकिंग एट दिस आंसर? ये कैसे लिख दिया मुझे समझ में नहीं आया. सर वाटर एंड टेम्परेचर एज कंट्रोल फैक्टर्स फॉर evapotranspiration. वेरी गुड चानू कुमारी. आरव सिंह बोला ET डिपेंड्स ऑन क्लाइमेट. आई नेवर सेड इट डिपेंड्स ऑन डोनाल्ड ट्रंप बेटा. ET विल बी evapotranspiration क्लाइमेट ही है ना. तो ये बता दो मुझे कोमल पाटिल के आंसर का क्या करें. ये वो स्टूडेंट है, दीज आर द सेम स्टूडेंट्स हु आर सेइंग सर आई अंडरस्टैंड एवरीथिंग, आंसर राइटिंग नहीं हो रहा है. व्हाई शुड दीज पीपल बी अलाउड टू इवन टच आंसर राइटिंग? सच अ बिग फेक थिंग दैट दे आर डूइंग. ET because of changing climate change it is increasing. Now let me, demand of question is about its definition, characteristics. So evapotranspiration बहुत ही simple. When we talk about it, you will be surprised कि आंसर में ये हटाना नहीं चाहिए यार. ये हटाना नहीं चाहिए. मतलब दिस इज तो मेमोरेबल भाई, मेमोरेबल. हाँ जी. सो evapotranspiration मीन्स evaporation and transpiration. So इसलिए evapotranspiration. 4 factors control evapotranspiration. There are 4 factors which control evapotranspiration. Number 1 is definitely the climate. Number 1 is definitely the climate. Temperature, humidity, wind. Will it decide the evaporation and transpiration? Will it decide the evaporation and transpiration or not? Think about evaporation. You're not plants, I can understand. After reading Komal Patil तो मेरे होशी उड़ चुके हैं. But I'm saying all the people, do you see evaporation? तुम्हारे घर में कपड़े सूखते हैं कि नहीं सूखते हैं? कपड़े सूखने के लिए रस्सी पे डालते हो ना. तो क्लाइमेट मैटर करता है कि नहीं करता है? Does climate matter or not? Yes, that's there. Second thing is, how wet is the cloth? अंकित बोला एंथ्रोपोजेनिक. अंकित मैं लिख दूं? अब ज्ञान मत दो. अंकित रिक्वेस्ट है, जहां से भी कई बार तो तुम्हारा नाम क्लास में ले चुका हूं, मत दो ना. तुम कौन सी क्लास के हो ये हमें पता है. तो एक तो इवेपोरेशन टेम्परेचर पे डिपेंड करेगा, क्लाइमेट पे डिपेंड करेगा. दूसरा, हाउ वेट इज द क्लॉथ. कुछ कपड़े मोटे कपड़े होते हैं, लाइक अ ब्लैंकेट. ब्लैंकेट क्या करेगा? बहुत सारा पानी अब्जॉर्ब कर लेता है. एंड थिंक ऑफ अ थिन कॉटन कपड़ा, वो कम करेगा. सो कैन आई से द सॉइल मॉइस्चर? कैन आई से क्लाइमेट किसको दिखाता है? डिमांड. सॉइल मॉइस्चर सप्लाई. yes or no? True. Third is the plant cover. Why did I use plant cover? Because transpiration is by plants. अगर प्लांट है ही नहीं, डेजर्ट में इवेपोरेशन हो रहा है ट्रांसपिरेशन? टेल मी. डेजर्ट, इट्स अ सैंडी डेजर्ट. इवेपोरेशन और ट्रांसपिरेशन? Evaporation or transpiration? So desert is only sandy, no plants over there. So transpiration. Think about equatorial rainforest where the sunlight does not reach the ground. The sunlight does not reach the ground. तो सिर्फ ट्री के foliage पर ही आती है, तो foliage is losing. So can I say plant cover will also decide? Plant cover. And fourth is the land management. How do you manage your land? Is your land mostly kept barren after the harvest of the crop, or you still keep it, like some crops? Do you have shade crops or not? True or not? शानू कुमारी आंसर लिख दिया. अब अपनी टोपोग्राफी अपने पास रख लो, ठीक है. ये जब मैंने इसमें सॉइल डाल दिया, एडेफिक हो गया है. 4 फैक्टर लिख रहा हूं, मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूं. अब इसे नोट्स लिख लो. डू वी गेट दैट? वो आंसर पढ़ने के बाद कोमल पाटिल का मेरा होश उड़ चुका है। अब मैं कह रहा हूँ पोटेंशियल इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन क्या होता है, उससे पहले पढ़ो कि ट्रांसपिरेशन क्या होता है, प्लांट कवर कितना है, परसेंटेज कवर कितना है। डिड वी अंडरस्टैंड? Evapotranspiration, this is what the loss of the water is going to happen. Loss of the water is going to happen under all conditions. Is everyone okay? Is everyone okay? अब evapotranspiration is associated with some region. Evapotranspiration is associated with some region. Get that? We have got that. Now tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. There is a region. There is a region, and it has 10 liters of water, and this is the region. This has 100 liters of water, or same region, say month of April is this. In July it has 100 liters of water. Do we get that? And all of it gets evaporated. All of its 10 liter gets evaporated. 100 liters get evaporated. Yes or no? So how much water is sufficient for this region? Is 10 liters sufficient or 100 liters sufficient? So there is a region, in the month of April, it had 10 liters. It lost all 10 liters because of evapotranspiration. Now, evapotranspiration is what was the climate, what was the soil, what were the plants, and like all that. So it lost it. Chala gaya. And in July also, July rainfall happened, monsoon came. Now the land had 100 liters of water. Now that also got evaporated, evapotranspirated, 100 liters gone. So how much water is sufficient for this area? You tell me. How much water is sufficient for this area? I really want to decide my crop in this area. How much water is sufficient for this area? What are these? These are evapotranspiration losses. ET loss, ET loss. Now you know what is ET, everyone. Are you okay with that? More than evapotranspiration limit. How much? आपके सामने values हैं, कौशिक साहा. How much? That's what I am saying. How much? More than 100 liter. So somebody saying more than 100 liter. Depends on month. आपके सामने data है. Depends on month. I am a planner. I am a planner. I have to decide a crop for this. पूरे साल का चाहिए मुझे. Do you understand my problem? My problem is that for the whole year, I want to plan a crop. Depends on the crop that we are. बताओ कौन सी करूं मैं? So more than 100 है sir. So in month of April, more than this thing. In July, okay Ayush. Ayush is saying इसमें more than 10 है. कितना है more than 10? 11, 12, 20, 30. Sir इसमें more than 100. How much? 110, 120, 140. कितना कितना? I am asking you. Or can it not be measured? Can it be measured? Now tell me, if I have this understanding that how much is the demand of that region, can I decide my crops or not? True. Can I decide my crops or not? Do you realize the practical utility of this thing? How much is the demand? क्या मैं decide कर सकता हूँ which crop to be there? True, because every crop, then I would know that this crop will not fail. But can I? Is there a method? Because आपने कहा 10, 20, 30 वो तो ठीक है. कोई तरीका है? So will change with needs. भाई मैं ऐसा चाह नहीं रहा हूँ, change with needs. Your father has to decide how much money is good for running your household for the full year. Some times of the year there might be more expenditure in your family. Sometimes of the year there will be less expenditure in your family, yes or no? But your father wants an annual budget. तो कैसे करेंगे ये बताओ मुझे, ताकि कोई कमी ना पड़े, सो दैट देर इज नो शॉर्टेज. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड कि प्रॉब्लम क्या चल रही है हमारे थॉर्नवाइट के जीवन में. ओके, थैंक यू. वाटर रिक्वायरमेंट, क्रॉप रिक्वायरमेंट प्लस कौशिक साहा कैसे, ही विल पिक द एवरेज, ही विल पिक द एवरेज. अर्चित रहने दे यार, एवरेज. घर में कोई दुख सुख हुआ, कोई इमरजेंसी हो गई, आई एम डीलिंग विद अ फैमिली हेल्थ इमरजेंसी, पैसा लगता है यार, क्या बात कर रहा है. वी विल कैलकुलेट एवरेज स्पेंडिंग. एवरेज स्पेंडिंग एक्सेप्शनल फंड भी तो रखना पड़ेगा. तुम लोग कोई प्रैक्टिकल नहीं करते, तुम लोग सिर्फ यूनिवर्सिटी में पास करे हो एग्जाम दे देकर. बाद में क्या करोगे, छात्र आंदोलन करोगे और कुछ नहीं. अंकित तुम छापना बंद करो, तुम सुनने पे ध्यान दो, ठीक है. So everyone, have you seen some people can consume a lot of alcohol. ठीक है, वो पहले क्वार्टर क्वार्टर दे दो, क्वार्टर पी जाएगा, फिर आधी बोतल दे दो, आधा वो पी जाएगा, पूरी बोतल दे दो उसको, खंबा दे दो वो पी जाएगा, एक बोतल, दो बोतल, तीन बोतल, चार बोतल, पांच बोतल, सब पी जाता है वो. टैंकर बोलते हैं उसको. यस. एंड देर आर सम पीपल, आई रिमेंबर कॉलेज में हमें इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे थे कि भाई शराब पीनी है, तो हमने कहा हम तो नहीं पीते हैं. सो दे सेड अच्छा एक काम करो, पहले बॉटल खोलो, अल्कोहल के फ्यूम्स आएंगे. कुछ को उसी में चढ़ गया था. Some people, the bottle was opened, alcohol is volatile. They said the vapors caused me to be intoxicated. कुछ बोले अच्छा ठीक है एक ढक्कन में दे दो, उसको एक ढक्कन में दिया, वो ढक्कन पीकर उसको नशा चढ़ गया. So I really want to know the capacity of a person, how much alcohol he can consume. Sir, alcohol, I don't drink alcohol. Okay, I want to check the capacity of a person, how many gulab jamuns he can have. So you've all had gulab jamuns, no? Gulab jamun or laddu, whatever छोटा भीम you saw, you had sweet or not? मुझे capacity पता करनी. I want to find the capacity of laddu eating capacity, the jalebi eating capacity. वो capacity कैसे पता चलती है? आपको अपनी पता चली कभी? Did you get any chance where you realized अब हो गया और नहीं खा सकता, I cannot eat anymore? Have you ever realized, have you ever come to that? कभी मौका मिला? I want to check someone's capacity. Now to check someone's capacity, if I give him 2 laddus, he will eat it. If I give him 3, he'll say, I'll eat that also. To check his capacity, remember that Guinness Book of World Record, how do they check people's capacity to eat chilies? They'll put infinite supply of chilies and they say खाओ, जितना खा सकता खाओ, मैक्सिमम खा के दिखाओ. मोहित बोला सर बारात में, इन मैरिजेज आई हैव टेस्टेड माई कैपेसिटी. सो मैरिज में क्या है, इनफाइनाइट सप्लाई है. एक पॉइंट आएगा, मोहित विल से अब और नहीं, अब खाऊंगा तो फट जाऊंगा. ट्रू और नॉट? सो evapotranspiration is the loss of water to a plant. But how much a plant can lose, give it infinite supply of water. ले बेटा जितना लेना ले, अब लूज कर. How much will you lose? And measure that amount. That highest amount that a plant loses will be called what? Potential evapotranspiration. कौशिक बोला saturation point. Perfect. कुलदीप बोला when it starts feeling uncomfortable नहीं बेटा, बीमार हो जाने तक खाना होगा. Do you get that? Now how many of you realize ये potential evapotranspiration का definition का मतलब अब समझ में आया है? It is the theoretical maximum loss of water when infinite supply of water is guaranteed. एक लैंड में इनफाइनाइट या फिर इसको अनरिस्ट्रिक्टेड लिखा था हमने. when now tell me everyone, If you are an agricultural scientist, if you are a city planner, and you know the maximum demand of your city, and you are told that this much rainfall is about to come, which exceeds the demand of your city, will you immediately send warnings for flood or not? आप सोचो. आपको अपना potential evapotranspiration पता है. That is the maximum that we will do. इतना चाहिए भाई. पता कैसे चल रहा है प्लांट की नीड? बिकॉज वो उतना लॉस कर रहा है ना. इट विल लूज. प्लांट्स नीड्स आर मेजर्ड बाय हाउ मच मैक्सिमम इट कैन लूज. तो अगर आपको शराब की कैपेसिटी करनी है तो ये नहीं कि एक ढक्कन पिया, एक बोतल पिया, सीधा गए बार में, बारटेंडर को बोला ऑन द हाउस लेता जा, रुकियो मत जब तक मैं गिरता नहीं हूं. दैट्स वेयर योर कैपेसिटी विल कम. एंड व्हेन यू नो द कैपेसिटी, दैट्स इट. ट्रू और नॉट? नाउ टेल मी, एक प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं. प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल. सो देयर आर मेनी रेस्टोरेंट्स इन इंडिया विच ऑफर इनफाइनाइट थाली. रिमेंबर, आप गए थाली खाने के लिए, जितना खाना भर पेट. Now, mostly infinite thali is not a loss-making thing for them. But remember, some people come with a lot of capacity. वो खाए जा रहा है, उसमें रोकना पड़ जाता है. Yes or no? So now you will see that there were thali system, infinite thali system. Now they've said, थाली में 2 बार दाल दूंगा, उससे ज्यादा नहीं दूंगा. True or not? Everyone, do you realize I am putting everything in practical for all of you? Mr. Thorntwhite was studying the plants, and he said plants are reflective of the climate. But then he realized that different plants have different needs, and those needs change with season also. So if I have to decide whether to call a region humid or arid, should I know the plant's need or not? Yes or no? Imagine you are hosting a lunch, yes? And the people who are coming to eat lunch at your place are the ones who generally eat a little bit. उनको 2 चपाती और 1 सब्जी काफ़ी है, ठीक है? And then there is another group of people who eat huge. वो जो महाराजा थाली है, वो महाराजा थाली के बाद भी कहते हैं खत्म हो गया क्या? Accordingly, you will have to change the menu or not. You will have to change how much you will have to keep, yes or no? True or not? So, don't you think that declaring a region humid or arid should not be based on how much rainfall or efficiency is there, should also take into account the need of the plant? So, आप उस region के plants ले लीजिए and find out their maximum possible evapotranspiration loss. Potential evapotranspiration कर लो. If the water available in that region is more than that, that will be humid. If the water available is less than that, that will be semi-arid or arid. True or not? Yes or no? But sir, transpiration is the loss of excess water from the plant. Some amount of water would have been used by the plant, which shows the actual capacity of the plant. देखो भाई सुनो, जब आप बाजार में बारात में खा रहे हो शाश्वत, तो आपकी कैपेसिटी गुलाब जामुन तो एक ही होती है. आपकी कैपेसिटी तो एक ही होती है ना. वो तो बारात आ गई इसलिए आप ज़्यादा खा रहे हो कि नहीं खा रहे हो. सो मुझे अगर किसी चीज़ को ह्यूमिड डिक्लेयर करना है, टेल मी वन थिंग, इफ आई हैव ऑलरेडी टेकन ओवर एंड अबव व्हाट योर नॉर्मल कैपेसिटी इज, will I be safe or not? Tell me one thing, if I have taken all the capacity and I am saying Shashwat, maximum water lost by a plant. Maximum water के लिए क्या कर रहा हूं? I am measuring the supply. Does that maximum loss already include the one which you retained in your body? Think about it. Think about it. What am I going to measure? I am going to measure the water I am supplying you. I am giving you infinite supply. True or not? अब वो आपका मैक्सिमम अपने अपनी बॉडी में रिटेन कर लिया, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. That's there. And that will always remain in your body, no? That will always remain in your body. But imagine if the water comes below that maximum capacity, then only you will leave your body water, no? True or not? Think about it. Think about it. Suppose your father is deciding the budget of your family and उन्होंने ये कहा कि भाई जो भी खर्चा करना है आप सारा सोच लो, आप सारा सोच लो, मैक्सिमम सोच लो, तो उसमें वो इंक्लूड हो जाएगा. यस सर, इफ वी सब्ट्रैक्ट इट फ्रॉम सप्लाई. शाश्वत, यू डिड नॉट इवन take my point, then why are you writing yes sir? You should write no sir, I don't agree. Why are you saying yes sir? Yes sir क्यों बोल रहा है? तुम तो मान ही नहीं रहे हो, तुम मान ही नहीं रहे हो. ये प्लांट है, ठीक है. इस प्लांट को 10 grams ऑफ वाटर चाहिए फॉर इट्स ओन थिंग, एंड over and above the plant will start losing that water. How much did it lose? 10 kg. I am saying 10 kg is what is needed for this plant. तुम कह रहे हो सर 10 ग्राम उससे सब्ट्रैक्ट करो. अरे भाई, जब मैंने 10 kg कर लिया तो वो तो उसी में इंक्लूडेड है कि नहीं है? When I gave the water to it, how much water did I give? I am giving on the supply, no? True or not? Yes sir, लेकिन उसको ना मैनेज वो करेंगे. और छविराज सर, सस्टेनेबली टू बी मैनेज. छविराज, अंकित, डोंट डू दैट. जितने हो अभी उतने रहो. जो टॉपिक बता रहे उसके नोट्स लिखो. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. डू नॉट ऐड टू इट. देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन ऑफ सस्टेनेबिलिटी इन दिस. डू यू गेट दैट? I am wasting time. Why? Because I am talking to people who have not any idea about what is happening, who are just, बात के बात निकाल रहे. It's a very, very simple thing that if you want to know whether the region will be moisture adequate or moisture surplus or moisture deficit, आपको ये डिसाइड करना है. Moisture adequate, moisture surplus or moisture deficit. Mr. Thornthwaite had said a very simple thing. You cannot say this until and unless you know what is the maximum requirement of that plant. To know that, you will have to ask the plant to lose as much, consume as much as you want, and show me what is your maximum capacity. Now, if your max capacity is this, if your max capacity is this, then above this is adequate and excess, below this it is deficit. इतनी सी बात कर रहा हूं सर. इसमें 10 ग्राम ऐड करूंगा, 10 सब्ट्रैक्ट करूंगा. इमेजिन छविराज इंटेलेक्चुअल इनपुट. दीज आर कॉल्ड सूडो इंटेलेक्चुअल इनपुट. सो सस्टेनेबिलिटी टू बी मेंटेन्ड. Who's talking about sustainability? It's mathematics. I gave you an example also. In your family, is your family money surplus, money adequate, or money deficit? How will you find it out? So unimaginable खर्चा जो करना है वो कर लो. Whatever you can think of, whatever you can think of. If this is the capacity of your house, how much you require? 50 lakh rupees. हो गया भाई, सब सोच लिया. घर की, इसकी शादी, उसकी दवाई, ये वो, 50 लाख रुपया चाहिए. That's the maximum which you want. So if your family has 50 lakh ruपया, 50 lakh rupees adequate. If it is 51, excess. If it is 49, deficit. If it is 100, large excess. If it is 5, large deficit. अब बताओ सस्टेनेबिलिटी. सर उसमें ना, सर मुझे ना अपने लिए स्कूल के लिए ना एक ना स्पोर्ट्स वेस्ट लेनी है. सर उसको ऐड करूं या सब्ट्रैक्ट करूं? इमेजिन, वुड यू आस्क मी दिस क्वेश्चन? Sir, for UPSC, na, I have to buy that book called D.R. Khuller. Sir, in this 50 lakh, should I subtract D.R. Khuller or not? चाचा जो चाहिए बता दे यार, पहले ही बता दिया है. Can you see how intellectual people are? And do you remember there was some answer which came from Komal Patil? Koppen potential evapotranspiration, Thornthwaite potential evapotranspiration, how climate change is reducing potential evapotranspiration. कैसे वे, कैसे reduce हो रहा है? Do you understand why people are failing this examination? With limited knowledge they will talk big things. छविराज स्पेशली बोल रहा हूँ, अंकित स्पेशली बोल रहा हूँ, ज्ञान दो मत ले लो, देर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग विद दैट. दिस bottle, this bottle, I can add only this much because this is empty. I cannot add here. So Chaviraj, if you are full till here with whatever ignorance you have, मैं डालूं कैसे? How do I put it? How do I put it? I am asking you to think on potential evapotranspiration. You give me an answer on that. How do I add to it? Think about it. सब भरे हुए ग्लास भरे हुए. सर हम तो ऐसे ही पढ़ते, सर नोट्स दे दो हम छाप के पास हो जाएंगे. मैं भी खड़ा हूँ, इतने सालों से खड़ा हूँ. आई हैव बीन हियर फॉर सो मेनी ईयर्स. सो मेनी पीपल हैव कम, आई हैव सीन देम सेइंग कि भैया इसको छाप के हम करेंगे. करो, क्या करना है यार. सिंपल सा कॉन्सेप्ट था यार. इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन ये होता है. पोटेंशियल इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन इज अ मेजर ऑफ फाइंडिंग आउट व्हाट विल बी द मैक्सिमम लॉस ऑफ वाटर. उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? यू विल हैव टू गिव इट अनरिस्ट्रिक्टेड सप्लाई ऑफ वाटर. देते जाओ देते जाओ देते जाओ, चेक कर लो. नाउ कम्स द प्रॉब्लम. So UPSC ने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा, what is potential evapotranspiration? So we had to talk about this. If you want, you can bring in some idea of water cycle. Absolutely okay. Somebody said water cycle, hydrological cycle. I have no issues. You can bring this. Then you can say, after you've written this, now to this evapotranspiration, the idea of potential evapotranspiration is a higher idea which is defined as ये define कर दो. Make sense? So first you tell what is evapotranspiration. Evapotranspiration will change from place to place, time to time. Very good. Place to place and time to time. What is potential evapotranspiration? Of a land, the capacity of a land to lose water. How much it can, that's there. This parameter was employed by Thornthwaite in his 1948 World's Climate Classification. Do we get that? Now this is how you bring this idea. ये हो गया. जो आपका पेज है, that's one page. First page will go into this. First page has to go into this. पता नहीं क्या आंसर लिख रहा है कि पहले इंट्रोड्यूस करेंगे फिर बताएंगे वर्ल्ड में कैसे चेंज हो रहा है. You don't even know what potential evapotranspiration is. But उसको बड़ा बड़ा चीज कर रहे हैं. क्यों कर रहे हो भाई? नहीं करना है. How many of you understood what is potential evapotranspiration? नया कॉन्सेप्ट लेकर आया. And that is why people value him. People value, अच्छा हाँ यार ये तो अच्छी बात बताई उसने. So he says कि आपको assess करना है तो आपको ये करना चाहिए. True. So do not call a region humid or semi-arid. Imagine क्या किया था कॉपन ने. क्या किया था? Somebody कोमल पाटिल saying कॉपन भी लिखना है. कॉपन का क्या था? कॉपन का B was evapo is more than precipitation. Hello, evapo may be more than precipitation, but the plant need. You don't even know. So tell me one thing. When I said 10 liters evaporated, 100 liters evaporated. In both the cases it is B. In both the cases isn't it B? दोनों में हो गया. ऐसे थोड़ी होने वाला है. So that's what he's saying. We are talking about an intelligent person who's talking about this. कॉपन ने इसको कैसे किया, उसने कैसे किया. भाई उसने किया ही नहीं कॉपन ने कभी. So request. Your fear will guide you to such places where question answers are written and you think that you will do that and you would have no clue. But yes, those shops will run and you will continue to be a customer to those shops. I'm saying it's not about, like I am taking a class which is charging only 4,999 for classes which are being charged 50, 60,000 rupees that I'll teach any less. I'll teach you everything in that. But at the same time, I also expect you to be serious about it. सोच के बोलेगा कि नहीं बोलेगा? True. And I said this is a much economically placed class. So there are many people who've done their coachings and then they are coming over here. करने के बाद आप देख रहे हैं कहाँ पर क्या ही बात आ जाती है. Do we get that? अब ये तो हो गया. अब that's okay. But the problem is to check how much alcohol you can take, you need to allow someone access to a bar. Measuring potential evapotranspiration is not possible. The problem came here. So 2023, UPSC did not ask us a question, what is potential evapotranspiration? It said, what is potential evapotranspiration and how is it measured? So now the question changes. So your examiner is going to talk about potential evapotranspiration. वो उस पे सवाल भी पूछेगा और इंटेलिजेंट सवाल पूछेगा और आपसे ये भी पूछेगा कि भाई ये मेजर कैसे होती है. डू वी गेट दैट? यहाँ पर when you have defined this, then you will have to write something also. The formula used by Thornton-White to find potential evapotranspiration भी लिखना पड़ेगा. Do we get that? PE is equal to 1.60 T by I to the power A. 1.60 T, नहीं 10T है, sorry. 1.6 into 10T, where T is equal to mean monthly temperature in degree Celsius, where T is this and the chotu t is the thermal index I, annual thermal index. Annual means 12 month summation of Ti by 5. Get that? And what is A? A is a further complex function of I. इतना सब लिखना है भाई. पोटेंशियल इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन. तुम इसमें वर्ल्ड मैप बना रहे हो. वर्ल्ड मैप वाला क्वेश्चन नहीं है. Did we write this? So I said the 48 classification is going to be a challenge. 48 classification में उसने चीज ही बदल दिया है. He is no longer just limited to the classification scheme. He has gone a little beyond that. So that is what I am talking about. Is everyone okay with that? Now let me show you something on my slides. Hanji. So what is potential evapotranspiration? It refers to the demand of the plant. Yes, do we agree on that? So 4 indices वो बनाएंगे. We are not interested in this. Let us talk about 4 indices. What is potential evapotranspiration? He applied, don't write this down, evapotranspiration as an index of thermal efficiency. Remember temperature? So temperature से उसने किया. Potential evapotranspiration represents the potential loss or the maximum loss of moisture through evaporation from water bodies and soil surface. He's not just talking about plants now. एवरीवेयर, जो भी उस रीजन का मैक्सिमम लॉस होगा, फ्रॉम अ पॉन्ड ऑल्सो, हाउ मच वाटर कैन इवेपोरेट फ्रॉम अ पॉन्ड. से फॉर एग्जाम्पल शाश्वत वाज आस्किंग सर प्लांट अपने लिए भी तो रखेगा. अरे इट अप्लाइज इवन टू द वाटर बॉडीज, इवन टू द सॉइल, कि आपने सूखने को छोड़ा तो कितना वो लूज करेगा. दैट्स देयर. डू वी गेट दैट? नाउ देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम. देयर वाज अ प्रॉब्लम. There is no method, there is no method to, no instrument to measure this loss. Problem ये. इसके लिए मेथड होता है. द मेथड इज कॉल्ड वेपर ट्रांसफर मेथड. आई विल मेक यू राइट डाउन ऑल्सो बिकॉज यूपीएससी ने पूछा है. बट वेपर ट्रांसफर मेथड इज द ओनली मेथड टू फाइंड आउट how much vapor is going out. So imagine there's a huge pond. How do you catch that thing? How do you catch the vapor? So there is non-availability of instruments to measure evaporation. Ab he has to still find out. Do you understand as a scientist what problems you face? So आपने ये तो theoretical तो आप लोगों को समझ में आ गया. अच्छा, this much loss is there, maximum loss is there. How would you measure it? There is no instrument for that. So you said, well, loss will be proportionate to the temperature or not. Think about it. More temperature means more loss. Do you understand? More temperature means more loss. So if I take a small lab apparatus and at a given temperature, I evaporate things, I will get a measure of that. Yes or no? And then I measure it with every degree in change of temperature. Will I get the idea of the proportion with which the evaporation changes? Yes or no? I'm saying I have a problem. I don't have a device to measure all that evaporated vapors. वो मैं measure नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ. But do you agree that evaporation will depend upon the temperature? So if I am able to measure how much evaporation is happening approximately at given temperature and at the next temperature, and I see the difference between them, so indirectly can I say temperature can reflect the evapotranspiration? Though I am saying this is not the correct method. This is not the correct method. So he was forced to take a method which is the temperature method. Temperature varies from place to place, time to time, and also depends on the insolation. So if the area is, say for example, equator, how many hours day does equator have? 12 hours day, 12-hour night. When we are talking about Delhi, well, in winters we were having, like more than 12 hours night. Yes, days were shorter, maybe days were for 10 hours and nights was for 14 hours. At equinox, what will happen? It will again become equal, and then now we are expecting days to be longer. So Thorndike considered first mean monthly temperature, number of days, and how much sunshine do they get, and this is how he computed. Everyone please pay attention on this. Please pay attention on this. You don't have to write anything. पहला उसने क्या किया? He wants to find out potential evapotranspiration. For that, what will he do? He will find out monthly heat index T by 5 to the power 1.514, where T is the mean monthly temperature in degree. So हर मंथ में आपने क्या किया? हर मंथ का एक T आया, T by 5. Yes. Now for the annual one, what did you do? For the annual one, what did you do? You summed this up. T by 5 to the power 1.514. Yes. Now he calculated potential evapotranspiration for each month. He calculated this annual. So आपने क्या formula लिखा? 1.6 into 10t by I to the power a. Yes or no? Have you written that? What is I? 12-month summation of t by 5 to the power. Is everyone okay? Did you understand? Are we clear? Do you understand how this formula came? पहले उसने annual निकाला. Annual was based on the 12 months of this thing. First he found out monthly. Monthly is just t by 5 to the power 1.514. Then you do it for 12 months. What do you get? Annual heat index, which is capital I. And from that you find out potential evapotranspiration is 1.610 T by I to the power A. How many of you understood this? And I की value मैंने आपको बता दी. I is equal to this. Are we done? Now he had used A also. Now I want to ask you, where do you get such powers like 1.514? पिछली बार 10/9 था इसका, yes or no? 10/9, ट्रू. अभी क्या हो गया है? 1.514. सॉलिड लेकर आता है, कहाँ से लेकर आता है? Now potential evapotranspiration is 1.6 into 10t by I to the power A. What is A? A is 6.75 minus 7 into 10I3 plus 7.71 into 10 minus 5 into I2 plus 0.01792 into I plus 0.49329. उसकी जगह if I have written further complex function of I, चलेगा? True. Did I make your life easy or not? Our potential evapotranspiration. ये मैंने आपके लिए किया. So please write down. Thornwhite concluded that potential evapotranspiration, is it okay I write it PE? PE, potential evapotranspiration is the measure of actual water needs of plants or regions. So Roshni is saying, sir, in water bodies में भी water level measure करके to a certain level पता किया जा सकता है, but how will it be able to measure it through leaves of plants, sir? So again I'm saying that's what I'm saying, Roshni. First of all, Roshni has a suggestion that first of all you suddenly want to be thorn white. I'm glad that some of you are putting putting yourself into thorn white shoes, but I would strongly recommend ज़्यादा मत सोचो. But still, रोशनी के क्वेश्चन के टू पार्ट्स. फर्स्ट पार्ट इज सर वाटर बॉडी में मेजर किया जा सकता है बिकॉज देयर विल बी चेंज इन वाटर लेवल. So Roshni, water bodies, say for example a natural pond or a river, water is lost not just because of evapotranspiration. In fact, transpiration नहीं, evaporation है. Water is also lost because of infiltration and percolation. So how would you distinguish that? And this man is interested in finding out how much is the water loss into the atmosphere. वो डिमांड के लिए. सो दैट इज़ वाई वाटर लॉस भी आपका ईजी नहीं है. जो आपने कहा वाटर लॉस में मेजर हो सकता है इफ़ यू आर थिंकिंग ऑफ अ स्विमिंग पूल विद टाइल्स इन दैट मे बी, बट नॉट नेसेसरी फॉर अ बिग रीजन दैट इज गोइंग टू बी देयर. So that's your first part, answer to your first part. Second part is to certain level, सर प्लांट्स का तो लीव से मेजर करना पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. तो मैं आगे आपको बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि द ओनली मेथड टू मेजर but the only method to measure actual evapotranspiration, actual evapotranspiration, actual evapotranspiration developed till now is the vapor transfer method. Which is vapor transfer method, which is neither easy which is neither easy to understand nor easy to use. Roshni, does it answer your question? So for the pond, I said that won't happen. And there is a method जो अभी तक बना है, and the method is vapor transfer method. So आपने कहा sir, how will we be able to measure through leaves of plants? I am saying that this is there is a method. Method is called vapor transfer method. You'll go and collect the vapors actually and then find out कितना हुआ है. Do we get that? Thus, for the want of a good, accurate, reliable method of measuring ET, evapotranspiration, Thornwhite was forced to use temperature as an indirect method. Is everyone okay? Done? आपको ये भी समझ में आ गया जो फॉर्मूला में है, वेयर इज द वेपर? वेपर तो है ही नहीं फॉर्मूला में. So this is a temperature based estimated PE value. So we was forced to use temperature as a variable. I hope everyone understood what I am trying to say here is. Thus, he created thermal provinces using PE data to signify demand of water. He created two indices for demand. Then he created humidity provinces to signify supply of water. He created two indices for supply. ठीक है. सो पी से क्या पता चला? डिमांड पता चल गया. एंड सप्लाई क्या हुआ? उसके लिए ह्यूमिड प्रोविंसेस बना दिए. यस, द net outcome of these four indices helped him ascertain helped him ascertain helped him ascertain the moisture equation surplus adequate deficit of a region. ठीक है, पोटेंशियल evapotranspiration में नहीं लिखना है. पोटेंशियल evapotranspiration have I given you sufficient ideas to tell what is potential evapotranspiration, its measure, its formula, and what is the difference between actual evapotranspiration and potential evapotranspiration? Everyone, if I may ask you, what is the difference between actual evapotranspiration and potential evapotranspiration? Quickly tell me, actual और potential में क्या होगा? What will be the difference between actual and potential evapotranspiration? I've used the word two places. One is actual potential transpiration, other is potential evapotranspiration. What is the difference between actual evapotranspiration and potential evapotranspiration? Quickly. So actual versus the loss. So actual is what salary your father gets. Potential is what maximum salary he can get. Get that? Maximum versus real. Absolutely okay, Kaushik Saha. Can I say potential is the theoretical maximum? Actual is the real what you're getting. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Let's look at his four indices. Four indices of 1948 classification. Four indices of 1948 classification. Okay. So potential evapotranspiration वाला करें. Thermal regime classification. Maximum and actual, that's what we are talking about. तो पहला उसने क्या किया है? The thermal regime. First is the thermal regime. Everyone, let me draw it. Let me draw it. You just observe it. Then you can decide how much page will be needed. Because on the screen, I have the advantage of, erasing things. No, you are not. So maybe first I would strongly recommend that you, when you're writing this, इसको आप ऐसे turn कर लीजिए. Turn your sheet like this. Okay. So the thermal regime is this. The key parameter to evaluate thermal regime is potential evapotranspiration and the potential evapotranspiration or the thermal efficiency index. That's what we are talking about. And major thermal provinces, thermal regime, he used the idea of potential evapotranspiration plus summer concentration of insolation. ये तो पहला पॉइंट हुआ. Thermal regime signifies the demand of water. Demand of water on account of on account of temperature, duration of temperature and duration of insolation. ठीक है, अब हम टेबल बनाना शुरू करेंगे. वी विल मेक द टेबल. सो यहाँ पर आई विल राइट द फॉर्मूला. वो तो अब तक याद हो जाना चाहिए. पी ई इज इक्वल टू जो हमने भी फॉर्मूला लिया था 1.6 इंटू 10 t/i टू द पावर a. इस फॉर्मूला से हम ये काम करने वाले. ठीक है. सो फर्स्ट आई विल मेक द we'll call this as the PE index. PE or thermal efficiency index. First let me make it, then you can see how am I using that. Code, then name, and then PE index value. So code is going to be A dash B4 B3 B2 B1 dash 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 dash, then C2 C1, then D and E all dash. ठीक है. A will be called as megatherm, B will be called as mesotherm, C will be called as microtherm, D is tundra, E is frost. When we are looking at the values would be, let me make the table quickly. You can also make the table. I will make another table here. एक और टेबल आएगा इधर. दो टेबल आने वाले. Yes. You make the table now. तब तक मैं values लिख देता हूँ. Then you can take them down also. 114. 99.7 to 114. 85.5. 99.7. 71.2. 85.5. 57 to 71.2. 42.7 to 57. 28.5 to 42.7. 14.2 to 28.5. Less than 14.2. So he has to decide megatherm and all that. So उसमें formulas से value आ गए. Remember formulas से you get the values and then in those values you will decide to take a cut. Which areas will be high temperature, which areas will be medium. And remember which one will demand more water, because this is the potential evapotranspiration demand side. Which one will demand more water, everyone? Which one will demand more water? A will demand the maximum water. A dash will demand the maximum water, and as we are going down, the demand will keep on going down. Perfect. Megatherm and all that. You are absolutely correct on that. Everyone, are we done? Please write done if we are done with this. Now, previously तो easy था 100, 80, 60 to 80. Some people would want to memorize this also. I don't want you to memorize this. ये बनाएंगे ही नहीं उधर. We'll say based on this, he divided that into megatherm, mesotherm, microtherm. आप ऐसे लिख सकते हो. If you want, you can straight away write this. I am telling you easier ways also. Potential evapotranspiration, उसने thermal efficiency index बनाया, उसमें mega, meso, micro, tundra, frost बनाया. If it is above 114, it was mega. If it was 57 to 114, it was meso. Micro was 28.5 to 57 and tundra was 14 to 28. Frost was below this. You can do this. अगर आपको पूरा टेबल नहीं बनाना है, वो भी नहीं लिखोगे, सिर्फ कैटेगरी लिख दोगे तो भी है. Some of you who are still interested in memorizing, सर इसमें कुछ मेमोराइज करना है कि नहीं करना है, तो आप देखोगे if you subtract 14.3, you will get 99.7. If you subtract 14.2, you will get 85.5. If you subtract 14.3, you will get this. If you subtract 14.2, if you subtract 14.3, तो ये 14.3, 14.2, 14.3, 14.2 कर लो तो हो जाएगा. Some of you may be very happy, सचिन सर तो बता दिया, अभी मोक्ष मिल गया, अब मैं ये याद कर लूँगा. इन द एग्जाम बेटा प्रैक्टिकली बता रहा हूँ, आपको टाइम नहीं मिलेगा टू मेक दिस टेबल. विल नॉट गेट द टाइम, बट फॉर योर दिस थिंग, कि आपका दिल खुश करने के लिए मैंने ऐसा कर दिया. ठीक है. सो पोटेंशियल इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन कैसे कंप्यूट किया उन्होंने? हाउ डिड ही कंप्यूट पोटेंशियल इवेपोट्रांसपिरेशन? 1.6 into 10t by I to the power a. ठीक है. T is the mean monthly temperature. I is the annual thermal index. Get that? I is the annual thermal index, जिसको हम T by 5 to the power 1.514 वैसा करते हैं. ठीक है. Now there was a problem. There was a problem with this. ये जो इन्होंने बनाया, everyone, all this formula which he made and all that, that's okay. But potential evapotranspiration, when he did this for 12 months, everyone, he did this for 12 months, he assumed that every month is 30 days. He assumed that every month is 30 days. 30 days of sunlight will come. And he also assumed that every day there will be 12 hours of sunlight. गड़बड़ या नहीं गड़बड़? Assuming every month is 30 days and assuming every day will have 12 hours of sunlight, both of them are wrong or not? Yes? So this is wrong. Now you are dealing with Thornwhite. Thornwhite is a perfectionist. वो कुछ गलती मानता ही नहीं. He does not say that I'll make a mistake. So he says I must make an index for that also. That the day's duration might change. Instead of 12, it might be less also. So I want to see the concentration of sunlight. And especially in the summer month, I realize the months are more. सो भाई साहब ने उसको भी करेक्ट किया है. So above equation represents the non-corrected potential evapotranspiration for 30 days and 12 hours. To make that correction, he took potential evapotranspiration as PE non-corrected into n by 12. n means actual duration कितना था आपका, 12 का वो fraction बन जाएगा. If it was 10 hours, please put 10 by 12. And how many days were there? If 28 days month, February was there, 28 by 30. वो भी account करके फिर आएगा final PE आएगा. You can imagine, मतलब आदमी क्या कर रहा था. दर्द है ये. पुरुष नहीं महापुरुष है. मतलब वेयर डू दीज पीपल कम. देन ही रियलाइज कि अच्छा ठीक है, वो समर के साथ चेंज होता है ना, सनलाइट ऑल्सो चेंजेस विद दैट. सो ही क्रिएटेड दिस थर्मल प्रोविंसेस. ये आपने लिख लिया, अभी मैंने लिखवा दिया. सम ऑफ यू वुड बी हैप्पी. अच्छा यही वाला था. फिर उसने ये किया, थर्मल एफिशिएंसी इज the element of temperature and day night, day length also indicates. And does this change with season or not? Does this change with season or not? So seasonal variation, remember Koppen had also talked of seasonal variation, but that was seasonal variation of rainfall. Abhi tak kya hota tha, rain varies with season. True, some season more rain. This fellow says why only rain? We are not just looking at the supply side. Demand side also may change, no? With season, the duration may change, especially in the higher latitudes, polar areas. Remember, 6 months of day, 6 months of night. So he says, no. I will have to create one more index for the variation in the thermal energy. And he added a supplementary classification by analyzing percentage of summer concentration of thermal efficiency. समर कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ थर्मल एफिशिएंसी, ये भी लिखो. समर कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ ये उसका सेकंड इंडेक्स. एक और इंडेक्स बनाया है. हेयर वी विल हैव SCTE परसेंटेज, कोड SCTE परसेंटेज. और नहीं, पहले नाम लिख लेते ना. ओके, नेम एंड SCTE परसेंटेज. कौन कह रहा था कॉपन डिफिकल्ट है? हु सेड कॉपन वाज डिफिकल्ट? अगर आपको कॉपन डिफिकल्ट लगा हो तो, एनीवन हु सेड कॉपन वाज डिफिकल्ट. सो ABCD, थैंकफुली डी तक ही जाएंगे. इस बार छोटू ए विल कम. A, B4, B3, C2, B2, B1, C2, C1 and D. Get that? And the names will thankfully keep the same: Mega, Meso, Micro and Tundra. Mega, Meso, Micro, Tundra. Sorry. $48, 51.9. 48, 51.9, 56.3, 61.6, 56.3, 61.6. 68, 76.3. 76, 3, 88. So how many types of regions are already done? Nine. Seventy-two types are already done based on these two indices. 72 टाइप्स तो इसी में हो चुके हैं. अभी दो इंडाइस और आएंगे. एवरीवन विद मी ऑन दिस. टू मोर इंडाइसेस विल कम. अगर उसमें भी 72 हो गए so it will be 72 square. 72 square is 5184 types of regions. You can imagine ये क्या क्लासिफाई कर रहे हैं चाचा. He is really going overboard. Everyone, did you get it in one page? सर इंडेक्स अप्लाई करने के लिए इंडेक्स अभी तो पता नहीं भाई. 72 रीजन्स तो यही हो जाएंगे. मेगाथर्म ए डैश ए. अच्छा सॉरी, मैं इसमें डैश लगाना तो भूल गया. whenever you have thermal you will always have dash. whenever you have humidity you will have no dash. ठीक है. So capital A dash can be A dash छोटू A dash छोटू B4 dash and whatever. 72 permutations are there. दो इंडेक्स हो गए. They are for which side? These are the demand of water. ये किस में हो गए? They signify the demand of water. I think we need some water. So ब्रेक ले ले 5 मिनट का. 11:45 हुआ है. 11:50 पे आते हैं. फिर ह्यूमिडिटी वाले इंडेक्स बनाते हैं. Get that? So let's do it. शशांक भंडारी हैज अ क्वेश्चन. सर पीई की जगह पीईटी लिख सकते हैं. प्रेसिपिटेशन एफिशिएंसी के साथ कंफ्यूज हो रहा है. So, Shashank Bhandari, you can write PET, no issues. But there in your 1931, I did not use PE. I think I used P by E. 1931 पे चले. 1931 में this was TEI, and here we'll have P by E. I used P by E. So that was there. But if you are using, see, here also I have not written PE. I have used P by E. Is everyone okay? So if you want to use PET, no problem. No problem. I'm just saying, that's there. Is everyone okay? Are we done? Acha, can we open this thing once again 1931 and see precipitation के लिए क्या उसने रखा हुआ है? What are the two indices that he used over here? Please use that. Have a look at that. Are we done? So your class is live on YouTube by a channel Scholar Studio. I do not know whether such a thing is there or not. The technical team will look into it. If you also have some other place where it is happening, you can mention it on the chat. The technical team will look into it. So one was precipitation efficiency index, P by E index, and other was seasonal variation of precipitation. Has he done the same thing for thermal this time? First, he did the potential evapotranspiration categories, the 9 categories, and seasonal variation not of precipitation but this time of summer concentration of insolation. So, दो इंडेक्स उन्होंने यहाँ बना दिए हैं. So, is everyone okay? Two indices, the thermal regime. Now I'm going into the humidity regime. यहाँ पर भी हमने थर्मल रिजीम देख लिया अपना थॉर्नटवाइट का. और ये कैसे कैलकुलेट करता है? एस सी टी इज द परसेंटेज रेशियो ऑफ द सम ऑफ द थर्मल एफिशिएंसीज ऑफ द 3 सक्सेसिव मंथ्स of the highest thermal efficiency to the total annual thermal efficiency calculated as sum of the thermal efficiency into 3 maximum. कोई नहीं पूछने वाला है, आज तक कभी नहीं पूछा, आगे भी नहीं पूछेगा. इफ यू फील नो सर व्हाट इफ इट कम्स, इसलिए आपको लिखवा भी दिया. So whatever is to come that has been given to you, so do not worry on that. Handout में भी दे देंगे. और बताओ, आपको मेरा काम है ना to give you practical advice, so do not get stuck on that. You will not need it, but at the same time, some of you might be, sir, if we don't have to do it, then why are we doing here? I wanted your muscle memory to be there. You should know thorn white छोटी चीज नहीं था, नाम में ही thorn है तो काफी thorn है. Now we are going into the moisture regime. Thornwhite in his classification analysis analyzed the precipitation alone is not an index of moisture. So water balance should be there. So now he's talking about water balance. पिछली बार precipitation, he was looking at precipitation is there or not. Now he's saying whether there is a state of balance or not. And for this he found an index of aridity, then index of humidity. उससे बनाया moisture index. Moisture index is humidity index minus aridity index, that is moisture index. ये इन्होंने ऐसा बनाया. ठीक है, हम किधर हैं? मॉइस्चर इंडेक्स इज इंडिकेटेड वेदर और नॉट, तो मैं ये नहीं करवाने वाला हूँ. मॉइस्चर इंडेक्स, ह्यूमिडिटी एंड एरिडिटी इंडेक्स. लेट अस डू समथिंग एल्स इन दिस. सो प्लीज राइट डाउन. वी आर लुकिंग एट द मॉइस्चर रिजीम. Second is the moisture regime. Again, the same thing. We'll be using get that? Please write down. In determining the supply side of moisture, in determining the supply side of moisture, Thornwhite decided to Thornwhite decided not to restrict not to restrict to just precipitation. He chose he chose instead to assess the degree of aridity and degree of aridity and degree of क्या बनाया हमने यहाँ पे ह्यूमिडिटी aridity and humidity degree of humidity to create a moisture index. एक तो इन्होंने moisture index बनाया. To this he added the seasonal variability of precipitation index. दो इंडेक्स बना दिए इन्होंने, seasonal variability of precipitation index and the humidity index. So that's what we are going to talk about in this, the two indices that we are going to make. So one is the moisture index. Let us look at moisture index. Again, there will be a code, there will be a province name, code, province name, and we will also have the MI value. MI value. Now what is MI? इधर MI का हमें यहाँ पर फॉर्मूला लिखना होगा. एवरीवन, कैन आई राइट इट ऑन टॉप? MI is equal to P minus PE upon PE into 100. P minus PE upon PE. P is the actual rainfall, actual precipitation, monthly, mean monthly precipitation. And what is PE? PE is potential evapotranspiration. Potential evapotranspiration. Is everyone okay with that? Potential evapotranspiration. Is everyone okay with the formula? सो इस फॉर्मूला से हमें वैल्यूज मिल जाएंगे एंड वैल्यू के बाद हम कोड देने वाले हैं. सो द कोडिंग विल रिमेन द सेम. A, B4, B3, B2, B1, C2, C1, D and E. D and E. Province name will be, remember, more than humid, you are per humid. Get that? All the B's will be just humid. They are humid. C's are supposed to be subhumid, but in this C I am making moist, subhumid, and this is dry subhumid. Temperature में नहीं किया था, but in precipitation is doing that. This is semi-arid and this is arid. So what is it going to be? Let's look at the table. It's going to be very easy. This is easy. More than 100. 80 to 100, 60 to 80, 40 to 60, 20 to 40, 0 to 20. You can imagine why this has happened. And this is going to be 0. So minus 33 to 0 and then minus 33 to minus 66 आएगा ना. So that's going to be, some people are saying sir वो error per और pre. So वो मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया था, per. My mistake. Per humid, humid and subhumid. This time subhumid is decided by 0. So this is the 0 line. So if you are above 0 line, you are subhumid, but because you have some moisture, you are moist subhumid, and this is there. This is where in India we find the forests are different. We have two types of forest, the dry deciduous and the moist deciduous. They are decided by this. Is everyone with me on this? So this is our, how many categories? 9 provinces. How many are there? 9 provinces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 thermal provinces, 9 humidity provinces, 8 summer concentration of insolation. And what will we have? We'll also have this thing as seasonal variability of rainfall. इस index को भी देख लें. So that was about your moisture index. Now this is the Thornwhite's seasonal change. Moisture regime classes are represented by 2 letters. So moisture index of a region generally indicates whether the region is humid or arid. You've already seen those categories, but it does not tell us whether the region is continuously under wet or dry. For this, what do we need? Seasonal variation of effective moisture. Seasonal variation of effective moisture. In this, how many categories are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 category करने वाला है. Preeti is saying, sir, what is in D? So बेटा 0 के नीचे गए प्रीति. So 0 के नीचे गए तो first stop is minus 33 1 by 3. So minus 33 1 by 3 to 0. Then we will have minus 33 1 by 3 to minus 66 2 by 3. And सबसे नीचे E is going to be lower than minus 66 2 by 3. Semi-arid and arid में क्या value लिखी है sir? Please show once again. So I have first talked to you about this. So this is negative value. Negative value. Either sub. Here all we have positive value. And here what do we have? Here we have negative value. Minus 33 1 by 3, minus 66 2 and 2 by 3, and lower than minus. So this is negative. For people who are not able to make out the difference, I have mentioned that also. Is everyone with me on this? If any question, please ask. Okay. So let me go to this one. We will call it the which index? SVEM, seasonal variation of effective moisture index. SVEM index, seasonal variability of effective moisture. कर दें of effective moisture. This is going to be our index. SVEM index is going to be there. Now this index will have two categories: moist climate 1 2 3 4 5 and dry climate 1 2 3 4 5. So we'll have to divide it. This is the code, this will be the water status, and there will be an index for that, and two index will be there. तो पहले तो इसको बनाना एक चैलेंज है. So first we will have this. वन टू, ये इधर बनेगा ही नहीं यार. Please make it, everyone, please draw this on a full sheet. I'm waiting, please draw this on a full sheet. SVEM index. You can draw it on a fresh sheet. उसी पर नहीं बनेगा वो. This is our index number 4. This is our index number 4. This is our index number 4. Okay. So this is where we are putting. Can I just write here SVEM index instead of that? Moist climate aridity index and dry climate humidity index. Moist climate, 5 categories based on aridity index and dry climates, 5 categories based on humidity index. So दो इंडेक्स बनाए चाचा ने. सी स्मार्टली. ड्राई क्लाइमेट के लिए कौन सा इंडेक्स है? ह्यूमिडिटी इंडेक्स. बिकॉज ड्राई में प्रॉब्लम क्या होगी? क्योंकि आपका ह्यूमिडिटी विल वेरी. ह्यूमिडिटी विल वेरी, दैट इज वेयर. एंड इन द मॉइस्ट क्लाइमेट, मॉइस्चर तो है ही है, कभी कभी वहां पर एरिडिटी आएगी, दैट्स देयर. और इसको ABC2 रखा है और इसको ये भी रखना है. सो दैट्स इंपॉर्टेंट दैट वी कीप द कोड्स ऑल्सो. रीजन A, B and C2 will come under this, and C2, D and E will come under this. So total कितने permutation हो गए? 9 into 10, 90 types. 90 here and 72 there. Please multiply 90 into 72. कितना हो रहा है? Quickly multiply 90 into 72. So C1 on dry. Okay, C1 on dry. 90 into 72 total regions. 1948 total regions. 72 6480. क्या करना चाहता था? No real world correspondence could not be plotted on a world map. Attempt at regionalization failed. आप रीजन बना रहे थे ना? यू सपोज टू मेक रीजन्स, दैट्स ओके. आप तो PhD कर रहे हो. A moment you do PhD, moment you do start doing PhD, you should be thrown out भाई. आपका काम क्या था? आपका काम था क्लासिफिकेशन. क्लासिफिकेशन के अलावा सब कर लिया. Apart from classification is done everything. That's the problem with this classification. And remember, ideal classification, the first criteria of ideal classification is differentiation. Differentiation means clearly identifiable demarcated regions. Does he do that or not? Does he do that or not? He simply, or rather miserably, fails in doing that part. जब आप वो मिस कर जाएंगे तो then there is nothing, no excuses for that. So as a classification, not a good classification. Not a good classification. So please write down the evaluation of Thorne-White's classification. Please write down, everyone. Thornwhite's classification. Thornwhite's classification has been acclaimed. Has been acclaimed. Has been acclaimed for its innovative and scientific, for its innovative and scientific understanding, scientific understanding of climatic variables, of climatic variables of temperature and precipitation with, of temperature and precipitation with the moisture demands of vegetation, vegetation and vegetation, comma, land and water bodies, etc. However, however, it fails in its principal endeavor. It fails in its principal endeavor of attempting to classify in its principal endeavor of attempting to classify the world into, classify the world into climate regions. In fact, his climatic classification, in fact, his 1948 classification, in fact, his 1948 classification, in fact, his 1948 classification failed to realize the goals of an ideal climatic classification. uh, Totally failed, totally failed. His 1948 classification totally failed to realize the goals of an ideal climatic classification. In bracket, remember ideal climatic classification में क्या होता है, वो सब नहीं था. In bracket, failed to differentiate, failed in differentiation, differentiation, universal applicability, differentiation, universal applicability, फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी, और क्या था, और क्या रखा था, जेनेटिक, पैरामीटर्स. इन सब पर वो फेल हो गया. So this is where it failed. Is everyone okay with that? Is everyone okay with that? around 32 around 32 regions could be created. Around 32 regions could be created based on his 1931 classification. Around 32 regions could be created. Around 32 regions could be created based on his 1931 classification. But 1948 classification turned out to be around 32 regions could be created based on 1931 classification, but 1948 classification turned out to be too complex. Yes, too many categories and lacking real world correspondence. सेकंड में तो टोटल फेल हो गया. Lacking real world correspondence. Real world correspondence in bracket no map possible. No map possible. So पैरा चेंज करना पड़ेगा. बहुत बुरा बोल दिया. एंड बुरा स्टार्टिंग में ही बोलना चाहिए बिकॉज that is the fact where he has failed. So it is good to be objective about what has he missed on. So in the beginning we are saying that he has not been able to hit the nail on the head. Please write down further. Despite all the above criticism and the lapses, despite all the criticisms and lapses, despite all the criticisms and lapses, Thornthwaite's work has found great utility. Thornthwaite's work has found great utility in various applied aspects. In various applied aspects of of yeah, of agricultural sciences and hydrology. Agriculture sciences and hydrology, particularly in studying the soil moisture balance conditions. Soil moisture balance conditions and water budget. Soil moisture balance conditions and water budget of a region. Water budget of a region. Yes. Next paragraph. His use of the idea of potential evapotranspiration. His use of the idea of potential evapotranspiration in an innovative and applied manner in an innovative and applied manner gives a lot of utility gives a lot of utility gives a lot of utility to his work. Based on based on his PET studies, he created four indices: two for moisture demand and two for moisture availability. Two for moisture demand and two for moisture availability, which in turn which in turn helped in assessing which in turn helped in assessing the moisture or water budget of that region of that region. This has significant practical utility. This has significant practical utility. What? Moisture budget has significant practical utility in in areas of water use management, in areas of water use management, planning and conservation. Water use management, planning and conservation. Surface and ground water resource adequacy analysis, rain water harvesting potential assessments, rainwater harvesting potential assessments, agriculture crop management and industrial water use management. So where should you have industry? That can also be there. And last, I would say flood and drought assessment and planning. Flood and drought assessment and planning, maybe it will be of great help. It will be of great help. Is everyone okay with this? So this is where I end Thornwhite, and as I said, Thornwhite 48 is a little challenging and there are concepts and the examiner will not ask us directly to get that thing, but he will be talking to us about other aspects of that. Everyone clear on this? So tomorrow, what are we going to do? Tomorrow we are going to do Trivartha's classification. Don't worry, Trivartha's classification, first of all, has never been asked in the examination. Reason, Trivartha's classification is almost same as Koppin's classification. He believed that Koppin's categorization is correct, so he should stick to that. And Trivartha genuinely Bhagwan ka banda tha. He was of the opinion that we should not create too many categories. The role of a climate classification should be to identify major categories. If people want to go into the details of it, the Ganga type or frequent fog or not or whatever, then give them that freedom. So there can be regional sub classification, but there should be the broadest possible classification when we are talking about global classification. So a classification scheme must identify the broadest categories. That's it. He says, I think Koppen had done that very well. We should stick to Koppen's classification. So his classification is a modification of Koppen's classification. Second, he said that definitely, like when we are classifying, we should keep the number of classes less. But at the same time, they should not be, without any explanation. So yes, precipitation and temperature based classification, these are good ones. But we should also try and see what is the cause and effect of that. So thoda sa element of genetic classification should also come along with the empirical classification. So when we look at his scheme is largely same as the scheme given by Koppen. Only thing is those parameters, those climatic categories, kuch formulas alag ho jayenge, but he sticks to the table. That's what we are talking about. And since he is just a modification of Koppen, that is why probably the examiner hasn't been very interested in asking us what is Trivartha's climatic classification. However, I would like to show you what is Trivartha's climatic classification. So this is Trivartha's climatic classification. दो classification आपके सामने. I know you cannot read this. This is too small to read. So let me first tell you. This is KCC. KCC means Koppen's climatic classification. Climate types and subtypes as defined by that. You can see A, AF, AW, AS, AM, BS, BW, C, CS, CW, CF, DS, DW, DF and ET and EF. ये उनका classification. Let's come to KTC. What is KTC? Koppen-Thornwhite scheme. So Koppen scheme was modified by Thornwhite, that is called KTC. Climate types and subtypes. So again the same. A is there. AF की जगह AR आ गया. F means full year and this is R. R means round the year. AWAS, AM starting में नहीं था, बाद में डाल दिया. So that's there. BS, BW same. CS, CW, CF same. DO, no, there was DSW, so here we have DO and DC. DO means D, close to ocean, oceanic, and C is continental. E remains the same. We will look at the revised criteria, and F is FT and FI. That's it. So first of all, to make our life easy, it is going to be the same. Now some of you might be interested, sir, ये बहुत छोटा है, मैं पढ़ नहीं पा रहा हूँ. So in tomorrow's class, we will take them one by one. So what is A में क्या होगा, A का criteria क्या है, B का criteria क्या है, those criteria are very clearly given, so not a problem. Then C को how do we group into CS, CW, CF, DO, DC, that's also there. Then E and F. A क्यों आया, ए वाली शीट इधर लगी रहेगी, मैंने हटाया नहीं होगा. दिस इज सी, डी, ई एंड एफ. That's going to be our classification. And he adds H. H is also called as G. G stands for glacier. So highland or glacier type, that's there. And the classification will end. So this will be a small one. So what am I going to do tomorrow? I'm going to get into something called as applied climatology. Just like we had applied geomorphology. So this will be a quick one. We'll take probably an hour to finish this, and in the remaining time we'll be looking at applied climatology, and I'll also be looking at climate change. So some of your classes have happened, people who have done environment, kuch climate change hoga. I'll be talking about basic science of climate change over here. What is the science of it? The current affairs of climate change and various agencies which are looking at it, various predictions which are happening, that I would take more in detail in environmental geography. Is everyone okay with that? So in paper 1 we have 5 topics: geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography and environmental geography. There we go into those current affairs, what schemes are there, what agencies are working on that. There we will be talking about that. Is everyone okay? So tomorrow we'll be going into hardcore science of climate change. बल्कि climate change कैसे हो रहा है, how do we get to know, so what are these studies of the glaciers, what are these studies of the paleoclimates, how do we study all those things. So that theoretical part we'll be doing tomorrow, but the applied part will be in environment geography. That is what we are going to do. Is everyone okay? So tomorrow we'll have a regular class. I don't have any doctor appointment tomorrow, but yes, on Friday it might be. So if that is there, if I have to go, so that might be required. So with father, I have to be with him. I was at a hospital yesterday. I also met Ravish Kumar. He was also there with his mother, probably taking care of that. So probably at our age, we need to take care of our parents also. So I'm a third year graduation, but my age is 20 years, about 7 months. Can I fill the form of UPSC? Rishi Chaudhary. Rishi, I don't remember the notification ka exact date kya hai. So the date will be specified. So if you open the notification, on this date you must be minimum 21 years. Get that? So if you are there, that will be clear on that. सर वो टॉपिक PYQ वाला सेंड करवा दो. Hasn't the climatology topic वो तो डल गए हैं. जस्ट लाइक ओशन जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी बेसिक में डल गया था क्लाइमेट PYQ का शीट डला है कि नहीं डला है एवरीवन? This was climatology PYQ. Explain the frontogenesis, discuss ocean currents. Frontogenesis ये हमने किया तो था ये शीट. And if you want, we can look at climatic classification also. So people who are, now that we are doing this sheet is almost there. So Ravish Kumar, NDTV. No, he's no longer with NDTV. Yes, formerly in NDTV. Climatic classification. Explain the techniques to calculate potential evapotranspiration suggested by Thorndike. आज के डिस्कशन से ऑलरेडी अपलोडेड. ओके बेटा, जिसको नहीं मिला आज के डिस्कशन से, कैन वी हैंडल दिस क्वेश्चन और नॉट? Explain the techniques calculated. So the technique is vapor collection method. True? Vapor collection method. So till August you have to be 21 year old. जी हाँ बिल्कुल. So 21 का वो डेट भी दिया रहता है एग्जैक्ट. डू वी गेट दैट? अभी मैंने डाला ही नहीं है उज्जवल किंग और हैक का. So that's there. Second, discuss the basis of climatic classification of Köppen. Remember 1900 he had basis and 1918 he changed the basis. All those quantitative criteria will be there. Yes, you have to make that table and then bring out the salient characteristics of CS type. Remember, CS is the most important, Mediterranean type. So that's there. True. रणवीर इज सिंह सर मेरा अपडेट में प्रॉब्लम. बेटा गो टू बेसिक क्लाइमेटोलॉजी, उसके नोट सेक्शन में देखना, दिस इज देयर. दिस वाज ऑलरेडी वी हैव डिस्कस दैट. और क्या क्वेश्चन आया? डिस्कस द मेन फीचर्स ऑफ क्लाइमेटिक क्लासिफिकेशन सिस्टम इवॉल्व्ड बाय कॉपन, ऑल्सो पॉइंट आउट इट्स शॉर्टकमिंग्स. पोटेंशियल इवापोट्रांसपिरेशन 20 मार्क्स पूछा था यार, ये 20 मार्क्स तो बहुत होता है. 3 पेज पूछ लिया पोटेंशियल इवापोट्रांसपिरेशन पे, पूरा फॉर्मूला और पूरा टेबल देना पड़ जाएगा उसका. दैट इज व्हाई. डिस्कस द क्राइटेरिया विच थॉर्नवाइट अडॉप्टेड इन हिज 1948 क्लासिफिकेशन. सर 1948 पूछा, क्राइटेरिया पूछा, क्राइटेरिया. 4 इंडाइसिस का बेसिस क्या था? दैट इज व्हाट दे हैड आस्क्ड. व्हेन वाज दिस आस्क्ड? 20 years ago. 1948 लिख के दिया है. So whatever I am doing in the class, please be assured, एग्जाम को देख कर रहा हूं. Not that I did not want to give you those indices. I am saying एग्जाम में आएगा नहीं. पूछेगा क्या? इसका भी बेसिस, उसका भी बेसिस ही पूछता है, सबका बेसिस पूछता है. Because making a table is just a stupid thing of, wasting time over there. Until and unless it is a question which is saying give the scheme, climatic scheme and his zones, तब बनाएंगे, otherwise नहीं होगा. 48 में आपका कुछ और हो ही नहीं सकता था. यू हैव टू डिस्कस द क्राइटेरिया. व्हाट वाज द क्राइटेरिया? तो क्राइटेरिया फर्स्ट 1931 भी देना है इसमें कि 1931 he was just looking at the efficiency and effectiveness, but this time he thought that the plant's need are also there. So we will talk about potential evapotranspiration. We'll explain about potential evapotranspiration. We'll say he took potential evapotranspiration assuming 30 days and 12 hours. But then he realized that with season, the summer concentration of insolation also changes. In fact, summer is the maximum. So he created another index of secondary index, which is called the summer concentration index. For humidity, he took it as a moisture index as a percentage of PE. P minus PE by PE. So PE के ही परसेंटेज से उसने मॉइस्चर निकाला. P minus PE by PE into 100 gives you the moisture index, and then he had the values and he created those things. 0 के above they were humid provinces, 0 के below they were arid provinces. Remember, C1, D and E, A, B, C. यही criteria, same thing, whatever I told you. Some of you might even think, Sachin sir, why did we give so much to the 1948 classification? यार ऐसा बेशरम question पूछ लेगा. So we need to understand that or not. That is why I have done that. So I do not want anything to be left out. Your classes should be comprehensive enough to serve all those needs. Then we will say that the arid and the humid will have seasonal variations. For that he created a seasonal index of moisture availability and moisture effectiveness, and that involved 5 categories for the arid regions and 5 categories for the humid regions. Do not make the table. अब बताओ उसमें जगह कहाँ बचती है उस सब के लिए? So that's what we are talking about. ये था. और ये आपको बता दूं हमारे टाइम में कितना आता था, 60 मार्क्स. तो जो आज पढ़ा है वो सारा लिखना हो जाता था इसके अंदर. We used to write for 600 words in that. 600 words in that. Probably we'll write 5 pages in that. अब ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है. You lucky people. 10 का आएगा, 15 का आएगा, 20 का आएगा. So in this new scheme of things, nobody can expect to ask you fully on Thornwhite. Is everyone okay? Trivartha पे कोई question कभी नहीं पूछा है, but we will spend some time on that also. My job to complete that syllabus aspect also for you. Get that? So I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Take good care. Bye bye. Jai Hind.